Okay, thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is a panel of network security and managing the risk in the digital world. My name is Craig Smith, and I'm the president of BorderLAN Network Security. I've been in the business about 20 years, enough to have seen a lot of changes. In my firm, we have about 2.5 million endpoints that we protect, over 800 school networks in various types of network security, perimeter and other type of defenses. The topic of the discussion today is reducing risk in the digital world. And as we all know, there's a lot of things we can do to defend, but it all comes at a cost. And so prioritizing those really is the issue of the day today. And with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists. We have Chris Krug, the Vice Chancellor of National University, with us. Thank you for being with us. And Lysa Myers of ESET, Lysa Myers from ESET, known for their extremely good AV defense and their artificial intelligence robot that we see at the airport so often. And before we begin with questions in this panel, I'd like to ask each of you to take a moment, tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience, and how your experience in your realm has helped you manage risk.
Sure. Again, my name is Chris Krug. I'm Vice Chancellor of Information Technology for National University System. National University System has a number of institutions within it: National University, John F. Kennedy University, City University of Seattle, and some somewhat smaller institutions. We're spread out across California and throughout the country, have about 56 locations, I guess we have about 50,000 users, staff and faculty and students. We're primarily online, so kind of a mix, probably 60% online, the rest in on-site classes. So an interesting mix and very non-traditional, but a non-profit, but non-traditional. I've worked in corporate previously, worked at University of Missouri, worked at University of California, San Diego. So I've had kind of a mix of corporate kind of security issues, but along with kind of the open access security that's necessary, or at least expected, at a university setting.
So I started I'm kind of more on the threat side of things. I started in the days of the Melissa virus in the malware research labs, and saw as things have kind of evolved over the years and how much things change and how much they stay the same over time. And over the years I've done, Mac threats and various other operating systems, and have seen how much emphasis there is now on kind of a agnostic approach to breaches and malware. And I've also been on the testing side of things, so testing various anti-malware products to see what they do versus what they say they do.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, thank you. So today we're going to go over some really interesting things that are going to be very helpful. The agenda is going to consist of us trying to cover about 8 primary topics and give you our input on those topics. These topics, each one of them can go on for hours, so we'll try to be brief. After the meeting, of course, I'll be available. We'll all 3 be available if you have any questions or you'd like to pass on any information. What we're going to attempt to cover is how we prioritize the threats that are going on, that are causing the risk, and how we try to mitigate that. I know that's a big, huge answer that we could give to that, so we'll attempt to do that. We're also going to touch on the rise of ransomware and how that may or may not be affecting student networks in the future. And then this is my favorite topic, whether we as educators should be forcing network security down to the endpoint all the way to students, either on iOS devices or other devices. We're going to talk about cloud, the risk of cloud, putting the cloud in, and what that means. And of course, some of the ways that threats are happening in education networks. We have a little bit, we're going to try to touch on some student training in this, and as well as talk about convenience and security. So with